Could our boy Bardock, aka the Great Scientist, become the king of all Saiyans? Now hold on, I know what y'all thinking. Goldie, what the hell do you mean? Could Bardock become the king of all things? No, it's King Vegeta. If anything, it could be Prince of Vegeta. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? And if anything, you could even say Goku should be the king because he's the strongest. What do you mean Bardock? Like, no, Bardock's not going to be King Vegeta. Hold on now. Because today, I, not y'all, I'm going to explain. Y'all go listen. Maybe you could talk about it in the comments. But I, today, am going to explain, dive into the Saiyan class system and how it pertains to power level and which Saiyan could beat who. Obviously, I'm talking about when Planet Vegeta was around, how the system works, what classifies a low class Saiyan, middle class Saiyan, which is never really mentioned in the series at all, an elite, things like that. How it fully works, who could really beat who, and just kind of, dive into that. So if you're ready to hear me out and potentially learn something new about the Saiyans, then make sure to like, comment, subscribe to join GOD and to let me know you like the content and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the content that you like. And last but not least, you should have a friend or family member. It could be anybody. It could be your brother, sister, niece, nephew, son, daughter, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, granddad. Now as you can see, I am standing. And if you were in my stream from like a couple weeks ago, then you would know the reason why I'm standing. In short, it's basically so I can be more energetic, so I can move around, explain my points and shit like that. Because when I'm sitting and confined to a chair, I'm kind of just like talking like this, and I can't really like fully, be my true self and everything like that, and really get the point across. And speaking of points, we're going to segregate this video into 3 different points like how we always do. So part 1 will be explaining what are Saiyans and what is this class system. How does the Saiyan system hierarchy of power work? Part 2 will be explaining how that pertains to power level specifically, because this is in the power level era. This is pre-Namek Saga or pre-Cell Saga, so there are power levels and things like that. And obviously that's what the main subject of the video is Bardock, and Bardock he existed while Planet Vegeta was still around. And finally, part 3, numero tres leches, can Bardock beat King Vegeta? I mean, can any of the other Saiyans, the OG Saiyans, beat King Vegeta, become the king of all Saiyans? And what that would look like. If you're ready, let's go and dive right in. So, of course, point 1. What are the Saiyans? Well, obviously we know what the Saiyans are. Raditz explains it to us in the Saiyan Saga. Obviously, Goku's a Saiyan, Vegeta's a Saiyan. We know this. The Saiyans obviously come from Planet Vegeta, who Vegeta that we know is named after, and his father, Vegeta the Third, was named after. Or I guess they named the planet after the king, because the first king was King Vegeta. Anyways, because before it's Planet Sadala, and before that Planet Plant or something like that. Anyways, since we all kind of know what the Saiyans are, I'm not really going to beat around the bush. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into what the class systems are. As we all know, let's start at the top with Prince Vegeta, King and Prince Vegeta, both Vegetas. Vegeta, as we all know, he's an elite. He says all the time, I'm the Prince of all Saiyans, the Saiyan elite. Then next you have, well, there isn't really a middle class. We've never heard the term, we've never heard a Saiyan say, I am a middle class Saiyan. We never heard that. So we don't even know if there even really is a middle class. And if there is, we don't know who's part of it. So we can only speculate. We don't even know if there really is a middle class. But I'm going to get into the middle class in a second, so relax. So watch till later in the video. Don't be starting hating now, because don't worry, I'm going to talk. Chill. And then, of course, finally you have low-class Saiyans, like Goku, Raditz, Bardock, Turles, who claim they're low-class Saiyans. Raditz tells us he's a low-class Saiyan, tells Kagura he's a low-class Saiyan, that's why he's sent to planet Earth, things like that. Now, obviously, the Saiyan classism is a military aristocracy, or kind of a feudal lord system, but there isn't really feudal lords. It's kind of just an aristocracy. You have the aristocrats, which are like the elites, the nobles, and then you just have like the lower class people in middle class, if that even exists. But like I said, I'm going to explain that later. In those types of systems, obviously, we know that the way the same system works is they judge your potential from the moment you are born, with the strongest having the most power. So the stronger you are, the more power you have. So it's not about money or social or celebrities or anything like that. It's just straight power. So obviously, King Vegeta being supposedly the strongest Saiyan. So we're going to go with that rule going forwards. And then Prince Vegeta being the second strongest, obviously. So with that being said, the strongest are always going to be the strongest and the weakest are always going to be the weakest. So when they measure your strength as a baby in the chamber, that is essentially, okay, they look at your potential, and based on what your potential is, that's how strong you're going to be. So a Saiyan is only going to be as strong as his potential allows. And because the Saiyans don't believe in training, your strength is just a natural process of life. Kind of like when you hit puberty. You know, you hit puberty and you kind of just naturally grow and your body changes, but you can't really control that. So, and the Saiyans believe the same way about their power levels. Now, they knew of Zenkai boost because like, oh damn, I kind of got stronger after that one fight. But Vegeta is the only one who used and definitely abused. He was abusing them shits like it was crack. Abused Zenkai boost. Cause we saw him in there putting in work against them Saiyans. Now with that being said, the Saiyan system is surprisingly democratic in a way, and such that you have Saiyans like, for the biggest example, Raditz, being on the same team as elites like Nappa and Vegeta. And they even call him Raditz the Runt because he's the lower class of the three. You know, the other two are elites and he's a lower class, so they call him Raditz the Runt. So you can actually move up in the society, so it's somewhat fairly democratic, believe it or not. And even characters like Bardock, who we know is stronger than he supposedly seems to be, but we never actually see him move up in class system, unlike Raditz or pretty much any other Saiyan. We only have Raditz as an example, to be honest, of, you know, vertical progression, promotion. So let's go to map out where the Saiyans are in the class system so we can see where they stand for later reference in this video. So obviously King and Prince Vegeta are royals. They are the elites. That's obvious. Nappa also is an elite, at least so he claims, so he's also in the elite section. There's one character before we move on from the elites that I want to touch on. Tarble. Now you're probably initially thinking, okay, well, he's obviously elite. He's, you know, Vegeta's brother. You know, he's Tarble. But bloodline isn't really that important in the Saiyan society. It's more so about strength. And Vegeta also mentioned that as a baby, he was sent off to a backwater planet, or to at least away from planet Vegeta because he was so weak. And this only happens to low class babies. So if that's the case, does that not mean that Tarble is just really weak, that he's actually a low class? Which is kind of interesting, because how could a son of Vegeta, King Vegeta, be that weak? And speaking of also interesting characters, let's look at Turles. Turles obviously is from the Tree of Might movie. Now if you don't know, the Tree of Might movie takes place right before Goku fights Vegeta, but after Goku defeats Nappa. So Goku defeats Nappa with the backbreaker Kaioken, blows his back out like an OnlyFans model, and then the Tree of Might movie happens, and then he fights Vegeta, which makes no sense, but we all know the movies don't make sense. Initially, when I was coming up, when I first watched the movie, I used to always think Turles must be at least a little bit weaker base than Vegeta. Because if he's coming right before Vegeta, pause, that means he must be at least a little bit weaker than Vegeta. I always used to think, okay, let's put him around a little bit weaker than Vegeta, or at least comparable, right? Which would mean that he's stronger than Nappa, definitely, because Goku used the Kaioken on him too and got his ass beat still. So he's probably an elite, would you think? I mean, he calls himself a low-class warrior, but he is not a low-class warrior by the time he fights Goku. So he's also an interesting character in terms of the class system. Also, another character, Paragus, Broly's father. Now, we never actually see Paragus fight, so we have no idea where he stands, okay? At least for now. I'm going to explain more later. Relax, okay? So for now, we don't know where he stands, but he is Broly's father, so that is something to take into consideration. And then obviously, skipping the middle class, because as far as we're concerned, it doesn't exist right now, as far as this video. So we'll go to lower class, which obviously you have Raditz, Goku, Bardock, Turles, so to speak, Gine, and all of Bardock's crew. Let's go ahead and jump into power levels. So let's actually measure up these Saiyans against each other and see exactly where they stand and if they really are as they claim they are in terms of the class system. So like with point 1, point 2, we'll start off with the elites, the royals. In the anime and in the manga, they're never actually explained that deep into the system of the classes and how they actually work based on power level. But Toriyama gives us answers in interviews and Q&As. So, with that being said, Toriyama himself states that in order to be classified as an elite, you must have a power level of 10,000 plus. That seems pretty fair. Now let's go ahead and look at the Saiyans in the elites and see if they actually are 10,000 plus. So let's obviously start off with King Vegeta. King Vegeta, we actually don't really know what his power level is. I don't know if it's canon or officialized or made official or anything like that. But from my research and on the wiki, and most fans seem to agree that he's at least between 10,000 and 12,000. Okay, pretty modest. Okay, I understand. It makes sense. That's where King Vegeta stands. Prince Vegeta, we know for a fact that he has a power level of at least 18,000 during the Saiyan saga, and then 24,000 during the Namek saga. But that's besides the point. So in the Saiyan saga, Vegeta has a power level of 18,000. And he even said himself that he surpassed his father in strength, in his power level. So that checks out. Prince Vegeta and King Vegeta are both Saiyan elites. They're 10,000 plus. Now, I know I'm not dumb, but there ain't no way this mofo with a power level of 4,000 think he elite. Both think he on a team. I mean, technically he literally is on the team with Vegeta, but gang, you are not an elite. You're nowhere near 10,000, bro. You're 4 bands. You is not in the 10K club, gang. Stop it, bro. You can't rep the set. You ain't in it. You are not in the club. Stick to hating on the outside, gang. Who you think you wheels, bruh? So let's see where Nappa actually stands. In the same interview, Toriyama states that a Saiyan between the power level of 4 and 5,000 is classified as the middle class. So that means that our boy Nappa, underrated Dragon Ball Z villain, is in the middle class just like the rest of us. Bro think he's special. We all got that one friend, he's like, oh, I'm not middle class. I'm upper middle class. Bro, you ain't even upper, gang. The upper's 5 bands. You 4. So you can't even say that, gang. Bro think he's so cool. Bro think he the big bully. He think he the big ones around the streets. Bro peaked in high school. Look at this chrome dome. Bro trying to live in the glory days. You a glorified bodyguard. You not him, gang. Trust. You not him, gang. Trust. You getting bossed around to dude that's 3'11". Trust. At least according to Pokeball Z, Vegeta 3'11". I actually forgot to mention. Don't know why. I mentioned his daddy. I didn't mention him. Broly. Where does Broly classify? Well, at birth, in the little chamber thing, it said his power level was 10,000. So he's an elite by birth. So there we go. And obviously, we don't see him as an adult until Dragon Ball Super Hero, Dragon Ball Super Broly. That's not what we're talking about. But while Planet Vegeta was around, he had a power level of 10,000 at birth. So he's the Saiyan elite. Now let's talk about his daddy, Paragus. Paragus is stated to be essentially roughly the same thing as Nappa. About 4,000 to 5,000, maybe even 6,000, but 4,000 to 5,000. He's in the same boat as Nappa. He's middle class. That's where he stands. Now, Turles, which I believe always had like a power level like maybe 15,000, 16,000. Tell me why this boy, I looked it up on the wiki. I did my research to make sure I was right. Tell me why this boy got a power level of 19,000. Now, if you don't recall, as I previously stated, Prince Vegeta, has a power level of 18,000. And his daddy, the king, 10 to 12. So, you mean to tell me that this whole time, Turles' base power level was 19K? And he's out here trying to fight Kakarot. Bro, you should have been after the prince. You could have beat Vegeta, become the prince of all Saiyans, as a matter of fact, the king of all Saiyans. Even your grade 8 form is stronger than his. It would be 190, with Vegeta's being 180. And fun fact, that's stronger than Ginyu. So he could have, if he had his tail on Namek, he could have beat Ginyu. Fun fact. But it doesn't end there. Because looking into Turles' power level, you think, okay, what's his power level when he eats the devil fruit on some One Piece type beat? I'm gonna give y'all a moment of silence just to think. what could Turles' power level be with the Devil Fruit? So, moment of silence. If you guessed 300 bands, you're correct. Now, if you think that's crazy, check this. Turles has a power level of 19,000. Eats the Luffy fruit, eats the Devil Fruit, 300k. But wait, transforms to a Great Ape. You know what a Great Ape's power multiplier is? 10 times. You know what 300,000 times 10 is? 3 milli. You know who else had a power level of 3 milli? Goku when he fought Frieza right before he went Super Saiyan. So, Turles, as a Great Ape, could have defeated Frieza. And he out here trying to fight Kakarot. Earthlings. He could have went after the Emperor of the Universe, let alone the Prince of all Saiyans. He could have became the King of all Saiyans and the Emperor of the Galaxy in the same night. Bro could have went ooga booga, I'm a gorilla, and clap cheeks. No Kevin Gates. And brother wanna fight Kakarot. Where are your priorities, gang? That's why you a dummy. You really a dummy. Think about it. He really a dummy. Moving on. Tarble. Tarble, we don't really know what his power level is, but on the wiki, I looked it up. I did my research, and it stated it has a power level of between 5 to 1500. So not even middle class. So he would be in what we would call lower class, because a lower class Saiyan is between 1 to 2000 based on what Toriyama said himself. Oh, also I should mention that the elite class, which is like Vegeta's, used to be called super elite, and the middle class used to be just called elite, but it was changed to middle class and elite. So just to put that out there, so be like, oh well go DC, you know, this is for the clippers, for the commenters. That's the case. So Tarble, we'll just be nice and put him in lower. Okay, he's a lower class, 1 to 2000. He has 1500. And Tarble, believe it or not, is actually canonized. I'm pretty sure he was canonized in the movie he came in, which I forgot what it's called. It's called Goku and his something friends, and basically it's post Boo. You know, they're having a party at Bulma's house. Bumfuck 1 and Bumfuck 2, red and blue, the alien dudes that fuse together, turn purple. That's where that movie comes in. Gotenks is the main fighter. He's a star of the show, kind of. He fights them in Gotenks. And Tarble got a wife. Now, I don't know if you want to like check this mofo, but like, gang, your wife, you want to get like some certificate, like some ID on that. Like, why she look like that? Like, she look kind of young, don't y'all think? I mean, what y'all think? Is she some fine shit? I mean, I don't know. Maybe she bad as hell in her species. I don't know. Like, but like, gang, like she kind of look like a kid, bro. Like, you don't want to Tarble Diddy. Like, you don't want to check that out. You don't want to like, I don't know. Maybe that's like Rihanna and her species. I don't like, bro, need to. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to check this fool. Like, Vegeta, you want to like handle your bro? Like, so now let's go ahead and look at Raditz. Now Raditz, we all know, power level 1400 compared to a Saiyan. Nappa Vegeta mentioned it, so he's obviously lower class. Kakarot, our boy Goku, Lord and Savior Goku Christ, he was born with a power level of 2. So he's not even low class. That's less than 1,000. But don't fret, there is a class that's still lower than lower class. I'm gonna call it the Kakarot class, fodder class, sent to another planet class. And Toriyama, in his interview, actually has a name for this class, or he doesn't have a name, but he has a range for this class. 400 to 500 power level. Goku's not even that. So I mean, I don't know how Goku lived, to be honest. I don't know why they didn't just kill him in the chamber, like just like, hey, nobody's looking, nobody's gonna miss him, like, right in the nursery. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, damn, bro barely even exists. Bro has a power level of 2. That's weaker than the farmer, who has a power level of 5. Cinco. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And those Saiyans that have a power level between 4 to 500 are sent away to planets, which happened to Tarble because he had a power level of 500 as a baby, and then 1500 later, most likely. And that's what happened to Kakarot. That's what happened to Goku. But it didn't happen to Raditz, which is interesting, because that means that Raditz was born with a power level of at least 1000 or at least 600, because the 4 to 500 range, less than 1000, but especially 4 to 500 range is when they get sent or less than 500 essentially, get sent off to other planets. So Raditz was able to escape that, which means he had to have a power level of around 1,000 when he was born, or at least, at the very least, 600 to be safe, so where he can not have to be sent away and join Nappa and Vegeta's team. It was actually his team first. Vegeta joined it later because he was one of the last Saiyans. Now there's probably a name you're thinking of. Oh wait, Goldie, you forgot somebody. He's like the main subject of the video. Bardock. Bardock is an interesting case because he claims to be a low-class warrior. He's stated to be a low-class warrior and a great scientist, don't forget. But gang, he don't look like a low-class warrior at all. Okay, like bro's pulling off feats that I mean, he got cooked by Dodoria, but that's Dodoria. I mean, that's Frieza's left-hand man. I mean, for a Saiyan, Dodoria got a power level. Dodoria was as strong as Namek Saga Vegeta. Not even the King of Saiyans was up to that level. So so let's be fair, okay? According to all my research, and even in the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game, Bardock has a power level of 10,000. Y'all know what that means, right? That means this boy should be a Saiyan Elite, because Saiyan Elites are classified as Saiyans with a power level of 10,000 plus. He's on King Vegeta level, who's at least 10,000. I'm really understanding why people are like, oh, Bardock versus King Vegeta. But not even that. I don't even care about Bardock anymore at this point. Main character of this video should be Turles. Gang, what are you doing? You're gonna be Frieza. 300 with the fruit with grade 8 times 10. 3 milli, gang. 3 milli. You got, and honestly, Turles could just be popping them devil fruits like they some of perks, and he could just never stop. Devil fruit is like sensu perks. It's like Kaioken without any repercussion. Mofo got that crackhead strength, and he want to go after Kakarot. Bro, go after Frieza. Matter of fact, you could just keep popping that motherfucker till you get to Beerus. You could just keep, like, you don't, like, what's stopping you, gang? Why would you? Priorities. Come on, bro. Priorities. You still had your tail? I mean, at least in Xenoverse, you out here, like, you know what I'm saying, stopping the main character, helping Toa, you know, on mirror level. So, I mean, hey, at least there's that. At least you don't, you know what I'm saying? At least you kind of realize that in Xenoverse, but that's not even, come on, gang. Now, with that being said, this video's gone on long enough. So, let's go ahead and get into point 3. The final point. Could Bardock beat King Vegeta? And probably not. I mean, Bardock got a power level of 10,000. King Vegeta is said to have a power level of between 10 to 12k. Probably closer to 12k, to be honest. So, I mean, probably not. I mean, if they were to fight 10 times, Bardock probably win 3-4 times. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be nice, 5 times. Okay, half and half. And if you really like Bardock that much, okay, he just got that aura. He got a bag on him. Everything. Okay, maybe he got some moves in the game you like. Okay, maybe 6 times if you really want to be nice. But he's, you know what I'm saying, I'm definitely not. If you going more than 6, you kind of crazy, to be honest. And no, we're not talking about that fan fiction Super Saiyan Bardock Planet Plant crap. We're not doing that. Okay, that's not even non-canon. Like, that's not even non-canon. That's non-canon. Like, that doesn't even, like, that's not even in, like, the expanded universe, multiverse of Dragon Ball. Okay, so we're not talking about that. That's not even non-canon. Okay, that's just straight up fan fiction. That's like some Dragon Ball AF type ish. Like some Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Like, we're not talking about that. Like some Dragon Ball movie at the theme park type ish. Like, we're not doing that. Now, bump Bardock, actually. Turles. Could Turles be King Vegeta? Yes! He could be King Vegeta, Prince Vegeta, Frieza. Like, what's stopping him, gang? Getting you? Like, bro, what are you doing? You lucky you a movie character. Because if you know what I'm saying? Like, or you unlucky, actually, because if you were actually in the story, you'd be whooping everybody's cheeks. Like, dang, bro. You'd be whooping everybody's cheeks like they a dang OnlyFans model. Like, Jesus Christ. Relax. Molly's Perkies. I feel so incredible. Like, he trying to be like Wheezy. He trying to be like Playboy Cardi. What the fuck? I'm honestly so surprised by this Turles. I did not even know. I thought this whole time he was weakening Vegeta. No, bro. No, bro. I'm an old culture swine. Apparently, I'm not a Dragon Ball fan. I did not know that. That's what, 300,000 with the devil fruit and grade 8 times 10, that's 3 milli. That's as strong as Goku was when he's fought Frieza right before he went Super Saiyan. And the requirement, honestly, he could have gone Super Saiyan. And Bardock is nowhere near 3 million. Turles is 3 million with the grade 8. So he could have went Super Saiyan grade 8. And what's times 50? 50 times 3, I don't even know what that is. 80 million? 50 times 3, 80 million? Yeah, it'd be 80 million. Goku's power level as a Super Saiyan was 150 million. And so was Frieza's equal, you know, with his full, you know, his full muscled up version. He could have went Super Saiyan grade 8, became 80 million. And he would have lost to like super strong version of Frieza. But he would have beat final form Frieza, because Goku was equal to Frieza. Well, I don't know. I'm not a power scaler. I don't really be doing the math like that, but you know what I mean. But, you know, give or take. But this video's gone long enough. That's essentially the point of my video. The final verdict, who can beat King Vegeta? Definitely Turles. Maybe Bardock on a good day. You know what I'm saying? Fully, you know, maybe fully strapped up. You know what I'm saying? Got the bandana. Everything. Okay, maybe you can give it a Bardock. But you know what I'm saying? King Vegeta's the king for a reason. I mean, yeah. And I guess Broly too as a baby, but I mean, he's a baby. Like, what is he gonna do? Wah! And crash out and then, I mean, maybe, yeah, maybe. But I mean, you're power level 10,000. King Vegeta, you know, it's like 12,000. So I mean, I mean, I know power levels aren't everything, but I mean, it's, come on now. Yeah, Turles. Yeah, for damn sure. I don't know that boy playing around. I don't know what that brother doing. I don't know what that brother thinking. He priorities. But anyways, that's essentially my video. Believe it or not, this is the second time I had to record this because my OBS. I'm recording this on OBS. My OBS with the Elgato cam. My OBS had an update, and when it updated the music, when it updated, it reset all my settings and everything. Well, not all my settings, but like my mic settings specifically, so I had to redo my mic, and so I was recording with no audio the entire time. But now the audio is working, and if it's not, I'm gonna be real mad. So if I have to record this a third time and my voice is like mad, like annoyed, that's probably why. So hopefully enjoy it. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know who's your favorite Saiyan out of the OG Saiyans I just named. Comment down below who's your favorite race in Dragon Ball, things like that. And just comment down what you think about this video. And while you're down commenting, make sure to like and subscribe to join GOD and to let me know you like the content. And turn on post notifications so you don't miss the content that you liked. And last but not least, tell a friend or family member. Helps the channel grow, helps the content grow. And you don't have to watch alone. It could be anybody. It could be brother, sister, niece, nephew, son, daughter, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, granddad. My name is Goldie, your boy GOD. And that's all I really got for today. So, bye-bye.